تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
Now I want to address some questions to the prominent Mufti. Okay, I want to address some questions to the prominent Mufti. A person who's a Mufti, okay, is a person that issues verdicts and fatwa. Now, a person with such titles, okay, a person with such titles should investigate the matter at hand, okay. First of all, you're not even from this country, okay. So what invested interest you had, because you hardly played any role when the investigation was being carried out, and you know, Al-Madad Outreach and various brothers on the ground who were dealing with this matter, you were not involved, you know, you weren't hands-on. It's not your issue. You live on the other side of the world. You're not from around here. So it's our issue, okay? So Al-Madad Outreach obviously dealt with this matter and did a beautiful job. You decided to bring Abdullah to question her and to speak to her about this matter now that it's concluded, and obviously it's been found that they've been you know, using charitable money for their own evil gains and luxuries. So before bringing her on, I'm just from a layman perspective, okay? Now to add as well, I'm not denying that you do great work. You know, I've watched some videos of yours and I have you know, nothing but praise, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you. But we're not going to fall for this celebrity culture. So if you fall short of your Islamic responsibilities and not adhere to principles and the methodology set out according to your own role, you will be called out for it regardless, because the Muslims have jealousy for their religion, and when it's not being followed to the T when it should be, principally and manhajan, we'll call you out. Simple, okay? So you can't say, oh well, who are you? It doesn't matter who I am. What's haqq is haqq, and what's batil is batil, and where you fall short, we have got the right to ask questions. So that's what I'm doing. Before bringing it on, it's your job to find out what happened so that you can deal with the matter Islamically in the correct manner. So you had no facts. You didn't reach out to Al-Madad Outreach, who investigated the matter, who actually had the true information that you could have used and utilized to then counter and question Abdullah when she joined your life. So the first question to ask is this, okay? Because I've watched it, you played no role whatsoever, okay? You were just basically, it was like counseling, if anything, okay? So the first question I'd like to ask is, why didn't you reach out to Al-Madad Outreach? Because they dealt with the matter, okay? They spoke to the families and they were largely involved. Now, before the naysayers come on and the celebrity, you know, fanboys and fangirls, no one's denying the good that he's done, and he consistently does, okay? No one's denying that, and we're not taking that away from him. But at the end of the day, we've got the right to ask questions, and it's our Islamic right to do so. When they fall short and they don't, you know, handle their responsibilities as they should, we've got the right to question and we've got the right to ask follow-up questions. So that's my initial concern. Why didn't you not reach out to Al-Madad, who spoke to the families who dealt with the case before bringing Abdullah onto your live stream? That's number one. Number two is this. Abdullah hasn't deleted her account. Okay, Abdullah hasn't deleted her account. Now that the case is over, okay, she was well or more than capable to come out on her own Instagram platform, which she has over 475,000 followers. Okay, and she could have addressed this matter on her own. Why did you bring her on your platform? Okay, I don't get that. You are largely uninvolved in this matter when the investigations were taking place. And once again, I have to stress, you're not from this country. It's got nothing to do with you. Yes, we'll deal with your your claims that, you know, I only met them briefly twice. Again, we'll touch that on that later. So that's another question and a concern as well. She's got 475,000 active followers on her Instagram account. Okay, so if she wanted to come out publicly and address this matter, what was the need for you to bring her on your platform when, one, you didn't contact the investigators, Al-Madad Outreach, who are on the ground, who investigated, who were dealing with this, who were speaking to the families, who were even from her own mouth acknowledged that Al-Madad was dealing. Why? I don't get it. It just doesn't sit right with me. She could have went on her own platform and she could have addressed her followers in whatever manner that she sees fit. Why did you invite her to your platform? And then on top of that, you didn't even investigate the matter. As a mufti, you're supposed to deal with both sides. Rather, you just spoke to her and you just gave her a platform and you played no role as a mufti, with all due respect. You played no role at all. So let's call it out as it is. You didn't go out and fact check as a mufti supposed to do. You're a person of iftar. You're a person of fatwa. So you've got to be very careful. What did they say? That the mufti is the prisoner of the person seeking the fatwa. He's a prisoner. So you as a prisoner, you needed to get your act together and contact the relevant people on the ground. And I keep mentioning that because it's a massive issue. Why bring it out to the forefront? It's a UK issue. You have got no business in dealing with this issue. So what other reasons could there be that you invited her to a platform to discuss this matter? Also, according to your own testimony, you said, okay, and as you can see on screen, this is from Muslim Daily. Okay, Muslim Daily. Follow him on Instagram and on Twitter. Muslim Daily adds, okay, this is very important, facts behind the scenes. He met them on different occasions and made a video or two with them, meaning the prominent mufti. He said they met twice briefly. This is not a representation of reality or of the reality when he had very coordinated communications with them. I'm going to touch on that later. He definitely recommended people to go to Hasanat for Ruqya and refused to speak against them. We're going to touch on that as well. He refused to speak against them because he said he was busy and he didn't want to give it attention as it would drag him down. And this is Muslim Daily, my brother paraphrasing. And these 2 points are problematic. I put this out to you, okay? To the prominent mufti. I put this out to you. When you're back in the UK, when this whole pandemic, bi'idhnillah, balls over, you could contact myself or anyone else. It doesn't necessarily need to be me, okay? And those on the ground. And you've been communicating, okay? So let's just get that out there as well. I'm very familiar with what's going on. Just because I haven't spoken about it, because, you know, there was more important people on the ground that were dealing with it. So I didn't want to make a video about it when it was ongoing. I just sort of kept quiet and I just, you know, followed the developments as it should have been. So back to what I said. When you said you met twice briefly, that's not a true representation, is it? So when you're back in the UK, no problem. I'll be willing to, and the source, to meet you personally to show you that in reality, I don't buy that, mate. I don't buy that at all. So that's point one. Let's get that out of the way. So when you're in the UK, okay, when you arrive, you know, when this is all over, I'll be willing to meet you and others, okay, the source as well, okay. We'll play what we have to show you that, okay. Well, the investigation was ongoing, by the way. Another thing that bothers me as well, okay, another thing that bothers me is this, is that you recommended people to go to Hasanat for Ruqya, okay, and you refused to speak against them. Those who follow Bro Hajji would know that I'm not the type of person that looks at things, you know, from a grassroots level. I really like to look at things in depth and dissect and, you know, look at the bigger picture to understand who's fibbing and, you know, whether there's inconsistencies and distortions. Now, and we acknowledge, you know, the prominent mufti is not from this country. Okay. So, let's put this out there. If a person is unknown and Islamic credentials is very important, okay, you being a mufti, went through the appropriate training and you put the work in and Allah blessed you with obviously going out to wherever you went out and studied and you attained that position. So when you're from a foreign land and you come to another country to recommend someone for Ruqya, okay, you recommended people with your platform, okay, not knowing anything about them, okay, that is problematic to recommend such a person. Now, as you can see, look at the damage. Look at the damage. Stealing people's money, charging for Ruqya, being deceptive, not having any qualifications or being trained in that particular fun, in that particular science or field, yet you recommended them. Okay, and how many people, we've got no statistics and we will never have the statistics, but how many people actually went to the fraudster, the kafir, okay, and took their services because of your recommendation? Okay, think about that for a second. Okay, so you recommended people very hastily, okay, when you're a foreigner to this land. So you can't be recommending people in this land when you do not know anything about them. If you met them briefly on 2 occasions, then why are you recommending them for ruqya, which you know is not an ordinary matter? It's a very, very deep matter. So irresponsible, very irresponsible to do such a thing. Now think about this now. Okay, so you recommended them, and now you see the harms. Okay, you see the harms and you see the outcome. Okay, and they've admitted it to Al-Madad Outreach about their double life and their sick intentions, okay, through various mediums that are available, and some are public and some are private, okay. Al-Madad Outreach has various information, and if anyone's interested, if you are interested, by the way, which you should have been, before poking your nose in this matter, before inviting Abdullah, you should have fact-checked and you should have went to Al-Madad Outreach before inviting her, as your title requires of you, okay, but you didn't. So I want to ask this question now, okay? And it's on screen, okay? This is from Muslim Daily, okay? If I recommended someone to go to a particular doctor or a therapist, etc., then the doctor turns out to be a rapist and a criminal or taking people's money, do I not have a duty to speak out against the doctor and take back my recommendation so the people or that people are not harmed or scammed by the doctor? So if I've recommended someone to a doctor, and I've recommended someone to a certain person, okay, and they turn out to be just monstrous people, then it's incumbent on me, because I've recommended a group of people or an individual or a family to go, and seek their assistance, services, or whatever they may be, and they turn out to be just like the most evil people of society, and they get harmed physically, emotionally, or whatever it may be, then I would feel a bit of guilt. I would feel that there's a responsibility of me and a duty of me to go now and publicly proclaim that no, you should stay away from such people, and you should not go out to these people because of their evil, etc. But you didn't do so. So when you were aware of the issues, which you didn't fact check, you didn't go to Madad Outreach or Al-Madad Outreach to speak to them, because the information was at their fingertips. The information was there. They investigated it. They put the hours in. So if you wanted to get involved, why didn't you reach out? That's my question. And why did you warn against them? Why did you warn against them after being made aware? And if you say, well, I wasn't made aware, okay, I wasn't made aware, then before poking your nose in this matter, don't you think you should have investigated before bringing this fasiqa, okay, onto your live stream? Don't you think that was the most appropriate thing to do? I would have thought, due to your knowledge and caliber and experience, that you would have taken those appropriate measures, but I'm probably gullible as well. With the celebrity culture and the celebrity shayukh that are out there, that think they're untouchable, that they think they can't be critiqued or criticized by those who, again, probably not have studied as much as you, probably didn't go out and studied in a reputable institute or university, no problem. But like I said before, we are Muslims and we speak out when haqq needs to be spoken, regardless. Okay? So don't think that you're going to pull out there and start saying, I know my usul and I know. No problem. You think we don't either? You think we don't? Just because we haven't got titles next to our name, don't you think we studied? Don't you think we know qawaid and we know usul and we know dawabit? Okay? Because you're not going to fool us with technicalities. Remember, the last person you want to fool with technicalities is me. I'll tell you that now. Okay? Don't be that gullible.
كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر وكم كرهت مصابها لكن رأيت الخير يسكب في أنا كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم البلاء بشر وشيطان يحاصرني أبا كم مرة قد أظلم الدرب ضحى وتحدر الدمع وضاقت بي رؤى. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ضاق قلبي من أساه محنته، وكم كرهت